having gone down that path, being one of the early pioneers of the developer to publisher transition, what would you advise those studios or any companies out there right now that have had a good amount of success and want to do the same thing? What would your advice be to those development studios?
Very straight, very simple. Secure your own future first. I've seen enough companies take that success and try and surge. And if you start splurging on other people's titles, when you've got one title of your own, like one or two, like because we started doing a little publishing after Killing Floor. But one of the things we realized was that that's fine. But if we don't look after ourselves, we're going down and everyone's going down with us.
Yeah.
So the first thing is secure your own future. Make 110% sure that you're going to get your next game out the door. Because if you don't, you've built a house of cards and the whole thing collapses. And you don't just take yourself down. If you've got a coterie of developers around you who are all hanging on your coattails, looking for, I was going to say looking for handouts, wrong expression. Who you are investing in, they're going to go with you. You're going to take them down as well. So you absolutely have to make sure that you're on solid ground, not this year, but all the way through to your next title, your next release. Because if you don't, it's a house of cards and it will collapse almost certainly, unless you get really lucky. And you cannot, it's a hit-driven business. You cannot bank on luck. And I've seen that. I've seen people overstretch, overreach, suddenly believe they can do no wrong. And it's a recipe for disaster. We always thought long term. We were never in it just for can we make it to next year. We wanted to be around forever.
Yep.
And that you've got to be very aware of the risks you're taking. Take the risks. I mean, we've been accused of, Tripwire was accused of being risk averse. We were never risk averse. If you look at the failures, I in my old office, I have a shelf of shit technology that we invested in and that we spent time, money, and building games for. Do you remember the Ouya?
Yes.
Yeah, we had one of the top-selling games on there. Sold 260 units.
I was going to say, how many dozens of units did it sell?
I mean, OnLive. Anyone remember the OnLive service?
Yes.
Yeah, and things like that. These are all things that we invested in, but we did it knowing that if it failed, it was not going to take us down. Not least of all because, for example, Ouya actually paid us money to do it.
But see, that's how you offset that risk.
But that's the point. Is you've got to understand what the risk is so that you can either just accept the risk or offset the risk or mitigate the risk. You've got to do something with it. Just pretending there isn't a risk is, going, I'm just going to walk across the freeway with my eyes closed and hope everybody misses me. Ow.